Before this video begins, I'd like to say thank you to my patron, the Beast Boss. Links to join the Patreon can be found in the description down below. Okay, so I'm finally going to break down the Doctor Who Season 2 teaser trailer. Okay, so we got a teaser trailer for Doctor Who Season 2 after last year's Christmas special, Joy to the World, and I've actually not got around to talking about this trailer yet, or breaking it down, or anything like that. So part of that was just because I had a little bit of a break in January. Then I came back and we were talking about like the new writers and stuff like that, because that news had just broke, and then my laptop just completely broke down and stopped working. So I hadn't really gotten around to talking about it yet, but I thought now's a good time to finally break this teaser trailer down, because for all we know, we're going to be getting a new full trailer very soon, especially if the series is going to be broadcast in April like we've been recently speculating about. If you want to know more about that, you can watch my latest video on that. But with all that being said, let's break down this really short teaser trailer for Doctor Who Season 2.
There are forces beyond this universe, so look into them.
So we start with a brief shot of the Doctor in the TARDIS, where things seem to be going a little bit weird. Now this could be just for one episode in particular, but I'm thinking it's the possibility, or I at least hope, that this is going to be some sort of running through line for the season as a whole, with the TARDIS kind of not working properly. And based on something that Belinda Chandra, Virada Sethu's character, says later on in the trailer, it seems like maybe she doesn't want to be there, and that the Doctor's just struggling to return her home because of whatever's going wrong with the TARDIS, which we see in this opening shot. And over this, the Doctor says there are forces beyond this universe, it's all a game to them, which to me suggests it could be referring to another member of the pantheon of gods. Obviously there's been speculation that Mrs. Flood could be a part of this pantheon. We also have a cartoon character that comes in later in this trailer that could also be part of the pantheon of gods as well, so I feel like that's probably what this is referring to, and I assume it's building to possibly another member of the pantheon being kind of the big bad in the finale of this season. So this is one of the most talked about shots of this teaser trailer, as to a lot of people this looks like it could be Skaro, and those ships flying around do look very similar to the Dalek ships. I don't know how likely it is that the Daleks will return in this season, so this could just be some other alien planet and these ships just could be some generic alien spaceship, but it does look very similar to Skaro, at least maybe a redesign of Skaro for the new era, and the ships do look very similar to Dalek saucers, even if this planet maybe isn't Skaro. I mean, the planet itself is definitely giving kind of Cloud City and Coruscant vibes from Star Wars, which is slightly different to what Skaro normally looks like, but I can definitely see a bit of Skaro in there. I have enjoyed having a bit of a break from the Daleks recently, especially not having them at all in the last season, but it is getting to the point now where maybe I do actually want them to return at least for one story. Maybe not for a finale though, but at least just for one story in a season at least some point soon, and especially to see Ncuti as the 15th Doctor facing off against the Daleks would be nice, but I'm not 100% sure if that's what this is going to be. So let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. We then get a shot of Belinda Chandra, played by Virada Sethu. This is going to be the new companion for Doctor Who Season 2. We are obviously going to get the return of Millie Gibson as Ruby Sunday as well at some point in the season, but I believe she's more going to be playing a role similar to Martha Jones in Series 4, where she kind of shows up for an episode or two in the middle of the season and then maybe returns with Unit again in the finale, which I'll talk about later on in this trailer. But obviously this is the new companion, Belinda Chandra. We do know from Doctor Who Unleashed that she does seem to be similar to Martha Jones as well, in that she seems to be working at a hospital, which at first I thought was the Royal Hope Hospital again, because I thought I could see the logo for that in the brief tease we got in Doctor Who Unleashed, but I think it is actually a different logo and a different hospital than Royal Hope, which we also saw at the end of Joy to the World. So I believe this shot could be from inside the hospital, but it could also be from inside maybe her house or something like that, her flat. But I'm assuming this is possibly from episode 1, which seems to be the episode with these robots in it as well, which I'll talk about later on. But from what we can tell, episode 1 seems to be meeting Belinda, and also there's going to be these robots in it. So here we get another shot of Mrs. Flood, who's obviously been a recurring character throughout this new era. This looks like it's likely going to be from what we think is episode 2 of the season, with that cartoon character that we get a look at later on in this trailer. But there is a possibility that this could be from another episode, as we also believe there's going to be an episode that takes place in some sort of outer space or futuristic concert, which this also could be from, but I think chances are this is from the 50s cartoon villain episode, which we believe is going to be episode 2.
Doctor! You need to get me home.
This might be the long way round.
So these are the robots that I was talking about earlier, once again with Belinda in it, which we believe is going to be the opening episode of the season. It seems like they seem to be in some sort of garden in this shot, so this could be Belinda Chandra's garden, and maybe that shot before of Belinda was her looking out of her window into her garden or something like that. We then see a shot of what I believe is the Doctor and Belinda Chandra falling from some sort of spaceship, followed by a shot of what seems to be at a similar point in possibly the same episode. In this shot, I did think they were also just falling in space, but if you look at the top of the shot, you can actually see that they do seem to be underwater in this particular shot. So there seems to be maybe some sort of underwater base that they're trying to get to. Potentially it could be something about the Sea Devils, because obviously they're going to be appearing in the spin-off, but I don't think that's necessarily going to be related to this. So here we have another shot of the TARDIS acting up, this time with the Doctor and Belinda in it, with Belinda Chandra saying, "Doctor, you need to get me home," which this kind of also backs up what I was saying earlier on at the start of this trailer, where there seems to be some sort of through line throughout this series where the TARDIS isn't working properly, is maybe being controlled by some sort of external force, and Belinda just wants the Doctor to get her home, which I'm hoping is going to be kind of a running theme throughout the whole season, because obviously last season we had Ruby Sunday, who willingly joined the Doctor in his adventures and was actually happy to be there, and there was kind of no conflicts between them. Whereas if this is what I think it's going to be, where Belinda doesn't really want to be there, but she can't get home, or the Doctor can't get her home throughout the whole season, it means there's going to be a bit more conflicts between the Doctor and companion in this season, which I'm excited for if that does turn out to be the case. Although this could just be for one episode for all we know, but I believe this is going to be possibly a through line throughout the season, and I do hope it is. But let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. And this is backed up even more by the Doctor saying this might be the long way round.
But the games are deadly.
Here we see a shot of Ruby Sunday in unit, so I'm assuming this is probably going to be for the finale, but it could be for the one episode or two episodes that we get in the middle of the season where Ruby is meant to be returning for a bit. But like I said earlier, I think she's going to return for a story or two in the middle of the season, and then she's going to be part of unit in the finale, but we'll see about that. We also obviously see Kate Stewart behind her, which isn't a surprise when we're in unit, and we also see Shirley-Ann Bingham in the background as well, which is nice because she was originally meant to be in season 1 as far as I know, but Ruth Madeley had some sort of conflict, I think, at the time. She was filming something else or something like that, I think, and so that's why we ended up having Lenny Rush as Morris instead. But it's nice to see her returning from the 60th anniversary specials, because I think she was a really good character as part of the unit team. But maybe we'll also get Morris as well, but I assume she's just kind of coming back and we're going to have her instead of Morris for a bit, and maybe they'll kind of switch season to season which one is being used, depending on like the actor's availability and stuff like that. And carrying on with the quote that we had from the start of the trailer, the Doctor is saying, "But the games are deadly," which to me suggests once again something from the Pantheon of Gods. It does almost sound kind of toy makery, but I don't think we're going to get a toy maker return in this season, especially with him being played last by Neil Patrick Harris. It's very unlikely that he's going to be available for an actual season of Doctor Who. To me, the 60th anniversary specials seem more like a one-off for him, but I suppose they did have him stored away in unit, so it's definitely possible that we could get a toy maker return, but I personally don't see that happening. I think it's going to be someone else from the Pantheon of Gods. Here we get a look at the cartoon character, which I mentioned before. So this story, from what we can tell from like filming and stuff, seems to take place in the 50s. You can also tell from the way people are dressed and stuff like that, and I believe it's taking place in Miami, or at least somewhere in America. But I don't want to get too deep into that without getting into a little bit more of kind of spoiler territory from what we've seen on set. But this cartoon character does look like it's going to be a very interesting villain. I don't know whether it's going to be the main villain of the episode, or if the villain's going to be able to control all of these cartoon characters and film characters and stuff like that and bring them to life. But it's a very unique concept and very cool concept, which I believe is going to be part of episode 2, and so I'm very excited to see what that's going to be. Once again, I think this has something to do with the Pantheon of Gods, but it could be something else, but I can imagine this being a Pantheon of Gods type situation. We also get this, what seems to be some sort of diner or cafe or something like that seems to be floating through kind of space or something like that. I'm not 100% sure which episode this is from, but I think I've seen speculation that it might be episode 5, which is meant to be a Newer Elms episode, but I'm not 100% certain on that, and I'm not 100% certain what's going on in this shot, so let me know if you have any theories about that in the comments down below. We see a shot of the TARDIS flying, and then we see a shot of these robots that we think once again are going to be from episode 1 moving the TARDIS in some sort of spaceship by the looks of things, or maybe it's the inside of a building from that city that we see that looks very similar to Skaro from the start of the trailer, which could lend more credence to the idea that this isn't Skaro and it isn't a Dalek's return. It could just be robot's home planet or something like that. We see another shot of Belinda Chandra with some sort of kind of bright light and energy or something coming towards her face. I'm not 100% sure what this could be about. We see the Doctor flying through this big open space, possibly on some sort of spaceship or in space or something like that, which I think could be related to where we see that kind of built-in diner kind of cafe area floating through as well. And this looks like it could be a really big epic sequence, which I think RTD might have referenced in the latest issue of Doctor Who magazine as well. I'm not 100% certain. And that's it for the Doctor Who Season 2 trailer, so let me know your thoughts and theories on this teaser trailer for Doctor Who Season 2 in the comments down below, and if there's any good ones in there, or if there's quite a few responses from you guys, I might come back and do a video on some of your theories about what could be happening in Season 2. And if you want to know when we potentially think Doctor Who Season 2 could be airing, then you can watch the video that's on screen now. Thanks for watching.